Hi everyone, this is Armijo with ChatArmijoCoaching.com. It's a little cold outside. I've got the fireplace going behind me, and just want to get candid a little bit about Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers. So at the time of this video, Tom Hanks is starring in Mr. Rogers' biography, the movie, and Mr. Rogers meant a lot to me as a child and a lot to many people as a child. And from what I gather from my knowledge and years of personal development and introspection, that I'm constantly trying to understand this universe, just like many of you are. If you're watching this, you're probably in the same boat. But what I realized was Mr. Rogers was a light worker. This was the time of change. This was still people kind of coming after this whole, we had just come through the Great War, and, there's Vietnam, and all this was happening and finishing around that time. So people had this different outlook on life at that point. It was more with the baby boomers, how they are. They wanted stuff, they had the Great Depression that they went through, and they saw a lack of everything around them. So the baby boomers wanted stuff. But not everyone, not all baby boomers. But at the same time, we started having these teachers, these light workers come along. So we had Earl Nightingale, we had Alan Watts, we had Zig Ziglar, we had even Wayne Dyer was, just coming up at that time. Bob Proctor, all these people were just kind of starting. But then we had Mr. Rogers, and he was a little different. He wasn't spewing. I hate that word, spewing. Let me change that word. So he wasn't teaching about personal development, not to an adult audience anyway. He was teaching children. He was teaching children how to live better lives, how to be better beings in this universe. He was teaching them how to accept one another, whether their skin color is different, whether their religion is different, whether their beliefs were different. Mr. Rogers was a glue that really helped to bind, this idea of being positive, being loving to your neighbor, being engaged with the world around you in a positive manner. That was his job and his duty. And the reason that he did that so well was that he was genuine. If you look at our world today, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, and a lot of these influencers, not everyone, there's some great influencers out there, but a lot of them are just not genuine. They want that perfect picture, so they Photoshop it. They want, the perfect setting, so they'll trick you to think they're on the beach or, riding in an airplane. And it's just not genuine. But Mr. Rogers was genuine. Mr. Rogers, if you were lucky enough to have him aired in your country, was this beautiful human being that, and I knew I loved his sweaters. Every time he would come in, he would put on his sweater. He would change his coat out and his sweater. And I understood recently that he did that. He would always start his show by coming in through the door. And what I understood recently is that was a way for him to tell the children, to show them some kind of normalcy at the time. When his program aired, parents would be coming home from work, and children kind of recognize that as something normal in their life, something stable, something consistent. So Mr. Rogers would put himself out there. He was as genuine as he can get. And the sweaters he wore, each one of them were made especially for him by his mother, which is beautiful in its own right. Now, he would change his shoes, he would sing his song, and he'd always talk to the children, to myself at the time, like a regular human being. There was no kiddie talk. There was no talking down to us. He would share all life's lessons with us as they happened. And I didn't know, but I was speaking with my aunt and uncle and my parents recently, and they didn't get it. They didn't understand really what the attraction was, you know. And my uncle said, he's like, I tried to watch it a few times, but I couldn't get it. Now, as children, you know, we're a lot pure. We don't have all this influence around us yet. We're just these sponges that like to take in these lessons and stories and learn about the world around us, where everything is still fresh for us. And Mr. Rogers, he made that the most incredible thing for us as a child. I can recall looking up at the TV and looking at Mr. Rogers and seeing him as this, I don't want to say father figure, it was almost more, it was this teacher that he exuded this love, this presence, this joy. And there was just something welcoming about the way he portrayed himself. You know, as we got older, we lost this innocence. We became this ego part of us. And, you know, we maybe went through high school or even middle school at the time where we started creating ego. We wanted to be this cool kid. We want to be popular. And we started putting these lessons aside. And then as we get older, we realize the mistakes we made, you know, and how our ego probably got us in trouble or put us in a disadvantage at times. But now that Mr. Rogers has come back into this picture, I realize how much I learned from him. I can recall one episode where one of the Pet Goldfish passed away, you know, and as a kid, everything seemed so together at that point. So, you know, you're watching the show, you're still comprehending that it's a show, but maybe, you know, things were set up a certain way. But that wasn't the case. The producer said years ago that when the goldfish passed away, they had said, you know, we need to clean this tank out because the kids are going to get scared and you know, we don't want to hurt anybody. And Mr. Rogers said, no. Let's use this. Let's teach the children about life and death and how to care for a pet. And I remember bawling my eyes out at that. But I learned that, you know, our passing from this world is normal. And I learned that many more times in my life, but I do remember that fish passing away and Mr. Rogers, you know, scooping it out and he said a little thank you for that fish for all the joy it gave us while it was here. And it was something that really touched me, you know, and I'm sure it touched many others out there who are fans of Mr. Fred Rogers. But this guy, this person, in the short time he was here on this earth, did so much good for people. You know, with his program anyway, he was genuine, he was articulate, he was respectful of his audience, and he did everything he could to engage his audience. And he was a light worker. And a light worker's job is to help raise the vibration on this planet to something beautiful. They're more intuitive to others' feelings and emotions. They're more aware of how to address others. They're more apt to engage with others on a unique level. And Mr. Rogers did that. He did that for me. He did that for many, many other people out there. And I think that's something beautiful. It's something that we need to recognize now that there are more of us on this conscious awakening, that these beautiful souls are all around us all the time. We need to be more open, more aware. We need to be more genuine ourselves. I still find myself trapped by ego at times where, you know, I'm afraid to tell people something because it may cause them to have a bad reflection on me or see me in a different light. And that's not genuine. You know, I do my videos and they're usually out in the wild and I have no control over the lighting or where I'm sitting. And I got an email or a message once that said, why don't you do anything inside? I said, well, nature is beautiful. Nature is normal. Nature won't lie to us. So I urge all of you to be more like Mr. Rogers. Be more understanding of your neighbors. Be more loving of your fellow human. It doesn't matter what they believe. It doesn't matter what their skin color is. It doesn't matter what job they do. It certainly doesn't matter how much money they make. But we are all one here on this planet. We are all love and light. And our job, our duty, our responsibility is to share that love and light with each and every person that we meet. So I just want you to enjoy this little reflection that I had as I was reading some history on Mr. Rogers, and really came to that conclusion that we are all at this point in our world where things seem crazy. They seem like time is moving faster. They seem like things may be getting worse for some people and better for others. But really, we're all in this together. We're all one here on this planet. And the sooner that we realize that, we understand that, no matter what politics is happening, no matter what our religion is telling us, no matter what we may see in the media, turn that off, by the way. Turn all that off. It doesn't have anything to do with us. It's all tricks of the mind here to keep us in these worrying states. Understand that you're loved. I love you. If nobody said that to you today, I love you. And understand that things can be easier for you on this planet. First starts here and here. Once we can understand that, things will be a lot more beautiful for all of us. So our job is to raise the vibration on this planet to something of love and joy and happiness. Our job is to work together through our fellow human being to see how we can help our neighbors and teach our children the positive attributes that we want to see happen in the future. Now, I thank you all for watching. If you've been this long, and I can keep going on and on with this for hours, but if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And just remember, lessons of Mr. Rogers. There's always lessons to be learned each and every day. Don't stop. Don't stop on yourself. Don't quit. The only reason that we stay here on this planet is to fulfill our purpose. And if you stop doing that, you stop progressing, it might be the time to go. But we need to continue to believe, continue to have faith in ourselves and the people around us, and continue to share our love and joy with everyone we meet. My name is Armijo with ChatArmijoCoaching.com. I love you all. I wish you a wonderful, beautiful day. And we're around the holidays, so just wonderful holidays as well, full of love and joy. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.